Hey guys, I'm Deanna Corby with Deanna Corby Dressage. Thank you so much for joining me again today. Today I wanted to talk about how to have a healthy relationship with your horse trainer. But first, my kitten wants to say hello. This is Kitten. Hi Kitten, say hi. She has a split down the middle of her face and now she doesn't want to be here anymore. Goodbye. Anyway, so I wanted to talk with you guys about how to have a healthy relationship with your horse trainer. When we're riding, it can be emotional, it can be extremely rewarding, it can be frustrating. Basically, riding horses is the hardest thing you'll ever do. The best way to have an effective and healthy relationship with your trainer is to find the right trainer that works for you. You'll have to do your research and maybe meet with a couple of individuals and find a horse trainer that works for you. Once you feel like you've done that, really give it a good effort and stick with that trainer. You know, don't just quit after one bad lesson. Really stick with that trainer and really work with that trainer to see if it's a good fit for you. I don't recommend hopping from one trainer to another because everyone has their own method and their own way of teaching, and can be pretty confusing that way. So stick with your trainer that you've picked and really give it the old college try. Secondly, you should set goals with your trainer. Like for instance, you want to learn how to canter. You've never cantered before and that's your goal. So set that goal with your trainer and make a plan. Say for instance, ask your trainer, how long do you think it will take me to learn how to canter? And you guys can talk that out from where you are right now and have some realistic expectations. Next, stop and evaluate your progress that you have made with your trainer. Take some time and reflect on how far you've come and where you would like to go next. It does help if you keep a journal about your progress. That way you can reflect back on, a year ago, 6 months ago, oh, I couldn't canter and now I'm cantering all over the place. I couldn't steer, I couldn't post, and now that stuff is easy, and that will help you be inspired to learn more. Riding horses is a lifelong journey. You learn more every single day, and it can be a little daunting. So it helps if you look back and reflect on how far you've come. Be sure that you ask your trainer questions. Don't just ride like a robot, but really try to understand what your trainer is looking for. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Be clear on your trainer's expectations. Does she want you to be warmed up before you're ready? Should you lunge your horse first? So to get the most out of your lesson and the most out of your relationship with your trainer, be clear on expectations. Is she going to ride your horse for you? How many days a week? Set a plan and be clear on your expectations. It's best if you communicate with your trainer, but don't make excuses. For instance, if you just had surgery, tell your horse trainer that you're dealing with that injury, but don't go into your lessons making excuses because it just sets you up for limitations. It's super helpful if you will study outside of your lessons. For instance, if you and your trainer are working on training level test 1, it would be great if you could go home and look at videos of other people doing training level test 1. Read articles, watch other YouTube videos, read the recommended reading list from the USDF. You should also practice outside of lessons. When I ride someone else's horse and I adjust my stirrups to my length, and then I go and teach my student the very next week and the stirrups are still at my length, I know that the student hasn't been practicing all week. So It's really helpful if the student practices so that we can continue to build, practices outside of the lesson so that we can continue to build and you can develop your own feeling. Be open to really trying to do what your trainer suggests. You hired them to come in and teach you, so you feel like they are at least a little more knowledgeable than you are. So if you really give 100% into really trying to do what they say, even if it sounds a little crazy at the time, it will help you broaden your horizons. This next tip in developing and maintaining a healthy relationship with your horse trainer is pretty important to me as a horse trainer, and I try to be as respectful about this as a student, but it's be on time. Please, please, please be on time. When I make my schedule as a riding instructor and professional horse trainer, I have every single 15-minute interval planned out. My working students can attest to that. I probably seem to be pretty bossy or like I'm micromanaging every single minute, but it's because I want to, I have a lot to do in a day, and I want to be as efficient as possible. So be on time for your lessons, and that doesn't mean just being out in the barn, but that means being tacked up and on your horse if it's applicable to your situation, and warmed up really for your lesson before your lesson time begins. Be cooperative as you can during scheduling. If you feel like you could help out by starting your lesson 30 minutes earlier than you might think is ideal for you, we would really appreciate that. So scheduling is a really kind of tricky business. I pore over my calendar every night and every weekend trying to make sense of my schedule, because I do some traveling too, and I want to teach students in this area, you know, all together, so I'm not spending my whole life driving around. So try and be as cooperative as you can for scheduling. Next, please be considerate of your trainer's time. We develop friendships and kind of a close bond while we're riding our horses, and it's easy to kind of chit-chat after and before your lesson. But like I said, most of us are rushing from one lesson to another. So let's either walk and talk, or maybe send me an email or something like that if you want to fill me in on the happenings of your day. I love all my students dearly, and but this is a business, so please be considerate of your trainer's time. So the last two things I want to talk about is please have your payment ready and in full, ready to give to your trainer either before your lesson or immediately following your lesson. Like I said, this is a business, and as much as I love teaching, and I would probably do it for free if I didn't have a mortgage and if I didn't have to feed myself. I love it so much I would do it for free, but it's not really realistic. So please have your payment ready and be ready to pay in full every time, either right before your lesson or immediately following your lesson, so that we can get to the next lesson. And last thing I want to talk about is to be respectful of your trainers, of the boundaries between you and your trainer. For instance, I've gotten calls from students just wanting to chat as late as 10 p.m. and text messages as late as like midnight and at 4 a.m. on stuff that's not at all an emergency, the stuff that's just kind of popping into my student's head. And so that can really be hard to manage when you're trying to have, you know, your own life and family time, and when you're trying to sleep and, you know, trying to kind of relax and escape from work a little bit. Like I said, this is a business, so you wouldn't call your doctor at midnight. So if you could be considerate of your trainer's time and your trainer's boundaries, I think all of that will really help you have a great relationship, healthy relationship with your trainer, so that you can get the most out of your time, so that you can learn the most that you can, as that's what we both want as a trainer. And as a student myself, I just want to learn, and be the best rider that I possibly can for my horse. So if you follow all these steps to the best of your ability, I think that will really help. I know your trainer will appreciate it, and I think that it will help you be the best student you possibly can be. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And please check back in the future for other videos that I make. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.